I hope everyone's been enjoying the music so far. We'll be back to it soon, but first, we get a chance to sit down with the artist, the auteur herself, Emm K.
Hello, hello.
How are you feeling tonight?
Pretty good. Not too tired. I've had too much caffeine though, you know.
That's good.
Got to do it as a musician. If you don't like caffeine, I don't know.
The not too tired part is good. The too much caffeine, take or leave it.
Yeah,
I'm sure Nathan, our former host, would be very down with the too much caffeine.
Yeah.
Speaking of though, this is not your first time on Sounds.
No.
You were here in fall of 22, if I'm right.
Yes, I believe so. So God, time flies so fast. I'm so glad to be back. So thanks again.
Of course, yeah. I'm sure a lot's changed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess more specific, like either artistically or career-wise, what do you think would be the biggest changes between then and now?
Oh, both. When I was here last, I was in the Bear Creek Band full-time, and I actually haven't performed with them in several months because I spent the summer in Nashville. So that was a huge change. I moved to Nashville for the summer. And then I've been leaning pretty hard into the rock scene more, whereas it was kind of more folky, solo acoustic. Yeah, so I'm excited to do some new endeavors with my new band, and yeah.
Yeah. How long has that band been going then?
We formed this summer, ironically, which I wasn't here, but we had our debut show at the Plus in Eau Claire.
Okay.
So awesome to do a patio show out there. It was just a gorgeous night, and it went really well. So we actually head down to Nashville this Friday to play a show at Third Coast Club.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're so pumped for that as well.
I'm sure big plans for the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what was the name of this band then?
We're called Valley Kill.
Valley Kill.
So you got to have us back. I mean, with the name and everything.
I might. I'll consider it for sure. Would you say it's kind of similar to the style that you played here, where it was like, well, yours was acoustic. Is it an acoustic band?
No.
Okay.
We go by Midwest grunge. So a little bit more heavy.
Okay.
We're on the melodic side though. I love like catchy guitar riffs and a lot of double bass as far as the drums.
Oh,
so,
you gotta love a nice double bass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So between Valley Kill and then the Bear Creek Band before them,
Yeah.
well, first, do you see yourself getting back with the Bear Creek Band?
Yeah, I have a show this month actually with them in Durand. So it's been a while. I'm excited to see the guys again, and it's at one of my favorite places, the Corral. So it's always a good time.
Very nice.
Yeah.
But between those, do you do much performing on your own, or is it mostly with the ensembles?
During the winter, absolutely. Like I've done shows at the Lakely and Eau Claire and a lot of the wineries too. It's kind of weird because I was gone for summer, which is usually where it's the most
Right.
shows are going to be had.
Yeah,
and
at least
and
here when
venues.
it's freezing for the other 9 months.
Right. I'm hoping for another green Christmas. That was awesome last year.
Mildly unnerving.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
probably
absolutely.
good. Yeah, good for performances though, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I like to. I have many irons in the fire, so I like to do a little bit everything. If I could have like more of me on the earth, I would, but I don't think people could handle that or want that, honestly,
Right.
two of me.
Duplicates down on Water Street.
Yeah, no, it caused too much trouble.
Right. So I guess if we want to take this back then, how long have you been doing this full time? Or
Yeah.
just doing this in general?
I would say I really dove into the music industry around 21.
Okay.
I've been writing and playing guitar since I was 9. And gigging since I was 13, but 21 is when I released my first EP, Hometown Stockholm Syndrome. So that gave me a lot more opportunities to play out and play with other artists, meet other artists, and like I said, lately I've just been diving into the rock scene that is exploding in Eau Claire, is what it
yeah,
seems.
majorly.
It's so awesome to see what this city has become.
Yeah, it's honestly a haven for live music, I'd call it.
Yeah, it's not the town I grew up in, which is kind of confusing because I spent a lot of my life not loving it, and now I'm like, geez, it's kind of a great place to have my roots.
Yeah, you got your roots over in Chippewa Falls, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started young, and then I was able to kind of understand how to grow at 21. I'm 24 now, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could, like, either see your younger self at 21 or someone, a new aspiring singer-songwriter like you, would you have any special advice for them? Something that you've learned over the years?
Special advice. I would say don't try and do it alone. Like, try and co-write other songs with people, go to shows and meet people, jam with more people. I think I isolated myself thinking it was more productive that way. And
The Bon Iver strategy.
It kind of backfired, for me at least. It works for a lot of great artists, but for me, I wish that I got out there and worked with more people and played with more people. So.
Yeah, that's solid advice.
Yeah.
What kind of, did you do stuff like that in Nashville? What
Yeah.
kind of people did you meet down there?
Huge. The community in Nashville is nothing like I've ever experienced. There's no gatekeeping. I mean, there's some bad apples,
Right.
everywhere, but everybody's so willing to like work on a passion project. So there's like co-writing down there is just insane. And then a lot of the dynamic of how they do their shows is called writers' rounds. So they'll have 4 people on the stage at once, and then you each get a chance to like sing your song. It goes on to the next person. You sing maybe 20 minutes worth of music, but it's
Wow.
really cool. You can kind of bounce ideas off of each other, but it's spotlighted down there a lot to work with other musicians because it's who you know down there. It really is. Like, have you made the right connections, the right impression, and are you in the right place at the right time where someone can call you up and be like, hey, our opener dropped out. We need you, at the basement in 2 hours. Can you be
Right.
there? And yeah, then if you can, usually it's a huge opportunity. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you go back to Nashville if you
Absolutely.
had a chance to?
I'm still paying rent down there right now. I'm serious. I
believe you.
I went down there expecting to live down there, and I just had so many loose ties here, and kind of just I keep changing my mind. So I was just like, I'll keep my place down there. It's 20 minutes outside the city. I love the place that I found down there, so I'm not ready to give it up.
Right.
So I've been down there. Like I moved most of my stuff back in September, at the end of September, and I was back in Nashville in the middle of October. So I go down very, very frequently. My creative process loves it. My wallet, not as much.
Yeah.
But money comes back, time doesn't. So
Money comes back. Creativity is eternal.
Yeah.
You gotta capture that when you have the chance.
yeah, absolutely.
If we can get into more of your creative process, what does your typical songwriting process look like?
Yeah, I'm pretty lyric heavy. Because I'm a moderate guitar player, and that's something else too that I've tried to work with other people. It's so much more fun to play guitar with other people and learn guitar with other people. But
Right.
So usually it starts lyrically. I write poems every day, so it kind of is just which words stick in my head. So, for instance, Frigid Waters. I was really just in a tough place. I just had to get it out because if it stays inside, it like rattles around. So starting with the lyrics, I really like the idea of when anger boils up in you, it kind of feels like cold water. Like if your hands are cold, but you put it under like a hot water, you get that sensation of like tingling.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good analogy.
Oh, awesome. So that's what anger kind of feels like to me. So I started that idea in Frigid Waters. That kind of formed the chorus, and then in the verses I wanted to get more in depth of the why and when. So I'll start writing lyrics to kind of fit the format. But it's never. There's ways there's like a recipe that works, but I wouldn't say that every song is the same process for me.
Right.
It's a little chaotic. but very lyric heavy first.
Yeah, that makes sense. To get the music of it, do you just kind of try and channel the lyrics into the guitar?
Yeah, like I
No.
love
There's no
my
real science to it.
yeah, right. I love my bar chords, so I usually gravitate towards them. But a lot of like my little licks or anything, it's experimental. It's not theory based as much as I would like to say that it is, but nope, it's very much by ear. You know, if I kind of hear that that chord tone, you know, I'll start with, you know, the lower root note and then build off of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you originally learn based on theory, or were you more self-taught?
I actually taught myself guitar opposite. Like I completely sabotaged myself. So I had guitar lessons as soon as I turned 10, and that helped phenomenally. But yeah, I didn't do theory. Didn't come until like middle school choir. Is
Okay.
where I learned most of my theory, and then in high school I did AP music theory for a semester as well. So that was just incredibly helpful. I think
Sure.
I think theory is important, so that you're able to work with other musicians. Like knowing the language is important.
Yeah.
But as far as like the creative process, I think that you don't have to lean on theory.
Yeah.
It's a tool, but it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a backbone for anything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like how, you know, with a chisel and a brick of marble, it still comes down to your own creativity with
Right.
how you sculpt it, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Which, if I can take another minute to compliment you, you're very physical when you perform, is what I've noticed on your stool.
Yeah, your camera people have their work cut out for them when I'm playing.
Yeah, but no, you can feel the emotion that you sing, but you have a lot of expressions when you play. A lot of what's the word, articulations on the guitar. So yeah, I mean,
you.
do you
Thank you.
is that something you consciously do, or does it just kind of come with the music?
The faces, the emotion just comes out, and I sometimes sabotage myself because I lose myself in the performance where the technique kind of starts to fall away.
Right.
So I kind of have to, you know, bring myself back and like, you know, make sure I'm staying in tempo and, you know, hitting the right notes. But the guitar articulation, that comes from just wanting to kind of keep the energy of the song, you know, because I'm not a shredder by any means. So to keep it interesting, I really like my stops. That's a guilty pleasure of mine. Almost all of my songs have like a hard stop, or, you know, syncopated beats are just my bread and butter. So yeah, I like to move, man. I'm a performer, you know, at best. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that is an important thing, I'd say, for playing live. That's the main thing, I think, that separates playing live from playing like recorded.
Yeah.
Is you get that physicality. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's a completely different experience to watch someone play something than to just listen to it.
And nowadays that's so important because of AI and, you know, there's people who make a living making music and they don't do live shows. They don't perform because they don't need to, you know, and
Right.
that's absolutely fine, but I really think the industry will loop back around and it'll be important to be able to play live, no backtrack. What can you do and how do you handle something going wrong?
Right.
I'm hoping anyway that the industry loops back to that because
Yeah.
AI is getting
Ugh, don't get me started, man.
crazy. It's getting crazy for songs. So, but it's a tool. It's, you know, same as autotune. It's a tool, but it shouldn't be a crutch.
Yeah.
Kind of how I feel about it. But
That's a good way of looking at it. And as someone with less than zero interest of hearing anything AI generated, it makes this even more of a joy to listen to, you know, and to be there for. Because there's that
thank you.
physicality that you can't really get anywhere else.
Right. Or like the mistakes. I think that's one thing my Valley Kill has talked about is we almost like to extort the mistakes or extort like the bends. There's one song that I like to do a bend on, and I can credit my drummer Ryan, who also plays guitar. He's a huge fan of just that dissonant, you know, Nirvana kind of sound.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like, that's the one thing that AI can't replicate are the
Right.
mistakes. So if you can kind of morph that into your show and into your performance, I just think if you use it in like an intelligent way, it's really cool.
Yeah, mistakes done in an intelligent way is kind of the whole reason we have a lot of the music we have now.
Right.
Like guitar distortion, that was never supposed to happen. Guitars were never supposed to sound
The
like
church
that.
hated it. They were like, oh, absolutely not.
And look at us now.
Look at us now. Yeah.
Well, if you want to take more time to talk about Valley Kill and any of your other bands or projects, I can open up the floor for plugs.
For plugs? Oh, awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still with Bear Creek, and I'm excited to play another show with them. And they'll be hitting their casino route this winter, which is my favorite. The driving isn't the favorite to the casinos, but
Right.
playing is awesome. Right now, yeah, I've got a couple solo projects just because I just can't help it, man. Like the more I write, the more I record, the more I find joy in it. So there's a couple that kind of in the making. I can't really shout them out just yet, but right now, main focus has been my band Valley Kill. So yeah, we released our first song, House of Burnouts, in August. There's a sick music video. Please go check it out. I got to play with fire, which actually my tattoo here, it says, "Do not play with fire" 10 times. So I just kind of wanted to test that out and see if I could.
You got to try it.
You gotta play with fire. But we'll have our next song out before the end of the year called 5 Fret Spread, and we're really excited. It's just this grungy, kind of like stoner rock vibe to it, and yeah, it's about a hypocritical woman. So we're pretty excited about that. But
Nice. Is that just going to be Spotify, general streaming?
yeah. Platforms. You can find Valley Kill on all streaming, Emm K with 2 M's on all streaming, and I love going to shows. So I'm usually, every weekend I'm either at the Plus or the Trap, watching the bands there.
Yeah.
I love doing the open mics as well at the Lakely and the Plus. So.
Oh, the Lakely open mic is a special kind of place for sure.
Oh, it really is. I still remember my first time going there, and I was so in my head around that time too. Like actually, the last time I was on this show, I was like having trouble to breathe and just like calm myself out because I was taking it too seriously, where I was like sucking the fun out of it. And I feel like just the experience I've gained with playing with other people, playing with other bands, going down to Nashville, you gotta have fun. If it feels like work, you gotta change it up and do something different.
You're doing it wrong.
It should be the passion. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any specific shows that you want to coming up that you want to plug?
Right now, we're huge in the studio. Our next show for Valley Kill that I'm excited about is a Valentine's show at the Plus. Bring your exes. Yeah, so we're excited for that one.
All right. And on that very high note, I think we can run it back to the music.
Oh,
Thanks
awesome.
yeah.
I'm excited for the next few.
Me too. Based on what's been happening so far, I think it's going to be a good last set. Thanks for sitting down and talking it over. It's been enlightening and a great time. And for everyone else at home, don't touch that dial because it's right back to the music after this.